Welcome everyone to my Scream Strength and Power tier list. This list will be covering the entire slasher movie up to date, and I decided to cook this up specifically for Halloween, so I hope you guys enjoy. The dumb blonde tier is pretty self-explanatory. The common trope in slasher movies is that there's always a dumb blonde, especially in Scream. Every character in this tier for the most part is dumb blondes, and people are borderline harmless even to each other due to either their incompetence or their stupidity. Laura Crane was a film studies professor at Blackmore University who particularly enjoyed going over the subject of slasher films. Unfortunately for her, it seems all those movies didn't give her any situational awareness because she was led into an alleyway and murdered. Robbie Mercer is a movie nerd who actually thought his being gay would save him from being killed by Charlie Walker. Now his hair color may not actually be blonde, but he's dumb, so he gets the title honorary blonde. Sucks that his best friend killed him though. Liv McKenzie's another honorary blonde because like most of the characters in this tier, she's harmless, and she's trying to make poor Shad break one of the rules of slasher films, such as blasphemy, and Amber shot are proving my points. Jenny Randall, while definitely not as dumb as most of the characters in this tier, made a mistake of hiding behind a door rather than running downstairs and escaping. Then apparently the sensors on her garage door were faulty. You'd think that people in Woodsboro would have a gun in their house at this point. CC Cooper made a mistake of staying in Omega Beta Zeta despite someone literally threatened to kill her, and she believed someone was in the house when she was supposed to be alone. I don't know about you, but I'd be at the door by then. Mickey was lucky, however, that this wasn't the Slayer. Jennifer Jolie is another honorary blonde because she didn't back up and ran through the glass in order to escape her death. The legend herself, Casey Becker, is here at third place in this tier because she actually managed to punch Billy Loomis in the face. That was before he made her into a humanoid piñata, however. Sarah Darling would have actually put up a decent fight against Roman, but she kept picking up prop weapons to attack him with. But I do suppose it was her fault for just picking him up over and over rather than just running. Christine Hamilton was one of the most competent in my opinion because she actually managed to whack her boyfriend Cotton Weary in the head with the golf club, though she was killed right after. The rabbit tier is for people who are borderline harmless but could defend themselves if it came down to it. The only difference between these characters at the bottom of this tier and the blonde tier is some of them weren't dumb enough to be called honorary blondes. Haley McDaniel and Nika Kyoko are two supporting characters who made the mistake of being friends with both Sidney Prescott and Sam Carpenter. Both are borderline harmless, but I would put Nika above Haley because she actually managed to throw a punch while Haley just got snuck immediately. The two movie nuts, Mindy and Randy, are both harmless as well, but at least they're smart in their own right and follow slasher movie logic. Plus Mindy has been stabbed quite a few times. Tame Riley, unlike everyone below, actually seems pretty threatening, especially if she has beer bottles, because she managed to knock Billy Loomis on his ass. Her choice to try to go through the pet door was pretty dumb, and she should have just pressed the button while Billy was down military rolled out. Also, what's with the garage doors in these movies? Danny Brackett is a large fellow, so he might just be able to beat up everybody down below, but I don't see any reason to put him higher based off just that. Tyson Fox was more than willing to fight for survival, and tackled Roman. However, Roman was also holding a knife, so this wasn't really a smart move, and it led to Tyson being stabbed and later killed. Derek Feldman is pretty jacked. All I need to say for real. Wes Hicks was shown to normally have a taser and pepper spray on him, which is pretty smart, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't smart enough to keep them close by, and that led to Amber just shoving a knife into his neck. Chad Meeks Martin I'd put it here because he has better feats than everyone below, and though he had help, he actually managed to start beating up one of the Ghostface killers in the 6th movie, and probably was seriously injured or even killed him if he didn't get sneak attacked by the other one. That is also pretty impressive seeing how much he's managed to survive like his sister. The competent tier is for characters who have weapons for the most part, meaning they should be able to kill everyone down below. That or they've actually shown they can fight somewhat. Vince Schneider has knives, so I put him about here. Though he could be argued lower because the most he did outside of being murdered was being a creepy showmo. Cherokee is a golden retriever, so he has teeth that would probably not feel very comfortable for anyone he bites. Richie Kirsch is a ghost face, but he was so incompetent and barely has any feats. The only real feats he has is attacking Sam in the hospital, failing to kill a drunk Mindy, and stabbing Sam when she was off guard. Most of the murders were done by Amber, so while he might be somewhat competent, he's probably not by much. Then Sam killed him quite easily. Jason Carvey was another person who used a Ghostface costume, however unlike Richie, he actually managed to kill somebody. Though that person was literally at the bottom of this list, and he was killed immediately after. Kind of weird and actually put up a fight against Roman, which I feel is more impressive than what both Richie and Jason had going for him. That and apparently Cotton knows how to use a gun, but it doesn't seem like he always has one on him. I'd honestly put the employee with a shotgun at Scream 6 at the top of this tier, seeing how he has one of the best weapons. But he was also kind of dumb seeing how he yelled out at his murderer before shooting at them. The expert tier is for characters who have actual training, mostly in police work or something that makes them an actual professional. I'll talk about the first 4 spots as quickly as I can, as there is something I need to go over real quick. Everyone here outside of Steven Stone has guns, meaning they can shoot him. However, Officer Richards is under Stone because he's an idiot who would rather yell at you than shoot, even if you're about to hit him with a car. And Stone is pretty strong, while Officer Richards is an old man, so I would give him the edge. Officer Andrews and Detective Wallace I'd probably put above them, however, because they would just shoot Stone. Officer Haas and Perkins I'd put above these two because they had better equipment overall, but they were idiots who were playing games while there was a serial killer running around. Plus, they were guarding Sidney Prescott, which is an instant death wish. Judy Hicks, although she's creepy, is actually more competent than her appears below, so I'd put her above. However, this is as far as I'd actually put her. Kirby Reed was a minor character who was stabbed by Charlie Walker in Scream 4. However, after she died and was resuscitated, she worked to become a special agent who had a special interest in anyone who did the Ghostface killings. She did get off screen and shot by Wayne afterwards, but I suppose her surviving multiple movies and having training couldn't be enough to put her this high. I'd put Mark Kincaid higher, however, because he actually gave Roman a pretty good fight despite being injured, which I found more impressive than what anybody in this tier had shown. The Survivor tier is for people who not only survived multiple movies spiced off their skill or luck stats, but also have put up the best fights against Ghostface killers. Some have even killed a few of them. Tara Carpenter, despite being experienced, is one of the more persistent characters when it comes to survival. One of her showings is when she stabbed Ethan in his mouth after he stabbed her in the abdomen, by the way. Dewey Riley is arguably one of the most popular characters in the entire franchise, and he also has the highest luck stat in it as well. Despite being stabbed viciously in the first 2 movies, he always managed to survive. In the 4th movie, he survived the math of metal toilets, and he did get brain damage somehow. Unfortunately, his luck did run out in the 5th movie, but he's still one of the only non-main characters who killed Ghostface in the 3rd movie. Gail Withers, similar to Dewey, is another OG survivor. However, I would put her higher because she actually showed more skill than Dewey, and actually gave Quinn a very close fight. The Ghostface tier is for most of the serial killers in the series who have mastered the art of stealth, and other characters who've shown to be a serious threat to the characters of this caliber. Now, this tier is different because almost everyone is relative to each other. However, it's good to note that some of the characters have feats. Examples, some of the Ghostfaces did a majority of the murders, while some of the others barely did any. So, note the killers who did a majority are relative to each other, while the minority, while not as strong as them, should be relative to each other. And there's no actual official order I give them, honestly. Sam Carpenter is one of the least experienced characters in this tier. However, I felt she belonged here because she actually managed to kill Richie and Wayne, which I will say is more impressive than when I was planning to put her in the Survivor tier. Mrs. Loomis I'd put around here because she's more experienced. However, she's an old elderly lady and killed way less people than Mickey did. She did stab Dewey and kill Randy, but she also caught them off guard. The Baileys are a psychotic family whose goal was to avenge Richie, but throughout the movie it was actually hard to find out who did what most of the time. If I had to choose who I would have ranked, Ethan would be last place, Quinn second, and their father first. Wayne has a gun on him and was most likely the one who killed Jason at the beginning of the movie. You could say Quinn was the one who killed the people at the bodega based off the hype between her and Tara. However, that's questionable to go off of alone. But you do know that she definitely fought Gail Weathers, and she almost killed her, and she was also the one who stabbed Mindy on the train by her own admission. Ethan not only has way less to go off of, but he had the least impressive showings in my opinion. Stu Macker is another character who has less feats overall, though he did kill Gail's cameraman and he stabbed Dewey. He also seemed pretty energetic despite being stabbed multiple times, and there's a chance he may be coming back in the next Scream movie. This would mean that he actually survived Sidney Prescott dropping a television on his head. Jill Roberts is one of the smartest characters in the franchise. She definitely wasn't the one who did a majority of the murders, but she was one of the characters who actually almost won in the end. Though, she probably should have checked Sidney Prescott's pulse before giving herself the worst aspie imaginable. It was also pretty funny to see her beat Dewey with a toilet. Sidney Prescott is the ultimate survivor girl of the franchise, and out of all the main cast members, she actually has the best feats. She stabbed Billy Loomis multiple times with an umbrella, dropped the TV on Stu Macker's head, and gave Roman Bridger, her brother, the best fight he had in the entire movie. She also had the advantage in the 5th movie before Amber Sneak attacked her and Richie took her gun. Up next is her brother, who actually put above her because he had better equipment and he actually won their fight. He killed everyone in his movie and was the only lone Ghostface in the entire franchise. He cleared an entire house by himself, and he killed everybody except Gail and Dewey. He also kicked Detective Kincaid's ass before having his throwdown with Sidney Prescott. I'd say the big reason he lost is because, like most of the killers in this franchise, he didn't shoot Sidney Prescott in the head. Note that Sidney and Roman is where the high-end Ghostface starts. I know I said Roman Bridger was the only lone Ghostface in the franchise, but honestly, Amber Freeman should have this title as well, because her partner Richie was actually a jerk-off the entire time, and if you keep track of the movie and where everyone's whereabouts are, it adds up that she killed everybody while he did nothing. Mickey Ollie Terry is one of the more prominent killers in Scream 2, and especially was killing 2 detectives in a car when they were escorting Sidney and Haley. Most of this movie was just killing a bunch of college kids who were helpless for the most part though, so I would just put them around here. Charlie Walker is another Ghostface who killed multiple officers. We know it was him because he gave Jill the gun after he took it off their dead bodies. I will say his motive was a bit weird. Like, seriously, dude, did you become a serial simp or something? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Out of all the women on the planet, you pick a girl who's so psychotic she had her own mother killed. You clearly don't know how to pick them, but at least she stole your heart. Billy Loomis is the man who started the legacy of the Ghostface murders after Roman Bridger gave him a little push, showing his father cheating on his mom with Maureen Prescott, then making his own plan to psychologically corner and murder Sidney Prescott. And while he did die, he forever lives in the hearts of every psychotic bastard who puts on the suits. The most he did was pick on some helpless high schoolers and a few adults, so it's true he definitely doesn't belong this high based off of feats alone, but like I said, everyone in this tier is mostly just relative to each other, and I felt that ending the video on him would be kind of fitting. If you enjoyed my tier list, comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll keep making more tier lists in the future, especially for Halloween.